So in this video, we're going to continue with rational equations, but in this particular example, we have a word problem. So let's have a look at it. So a rectangle has dimensions as shown. So the width is 2 over x and the length is 3 minus x over x squared. And we're told that the perimeter of the rectangle is 28 centimeters. All right, so perimeter. So what's the perimeter? That's the first thing we need to figure out. So the perimeter is the sum of the lengths of the sides. So we need to add up all the side lengths, and then that will equal 28. So that's our equation. So that's what we're looking for. We're going to start with an equation, and then we need to find the values of x that satisfy the equation. So our first step is the equation. So the perimeter is actually 2 times 3 minus x over x squared, and that's because we have two lengths, plus 2 times 2 over x, that's because we have two widths, and that all equals 28. All right, so now let's solve this rational equation. So first thing we're going to do, or I'm going to do, is I suggest we factor out this 2 from both sides. All right, so that eliminates the 2. And on the right-hand side, 2 divided to 28 is 14. So now we have 3 minus x over x squared plus 2x equals 14. Great. So now let's put everything on the left-hand side over a common denominator. So the denominators are x squared and x. So that means the second rational function we need to multiply by x in the numerator and denominator. Okay, and the right-hand side we can leave as is for now. And now we can add the numerators. So 3 minus x plus 2x over x squared equals 14. Let's simplify the numerator on the left-hand side, so that means we have 3 minus x over x squared equals 14. Okay, so now let's bring the 14 over to the left-hand side. Okay, again, we need to put everything over a common denominator. Let's move things over here a little bit. That means multiplying the second term, the 14, by x squared in the numerator and denominator. Okay. And then subtracting the numerators. No idea if this is going to work. And then the only way this rational function can equal 0 is if the numerator equals 0. Okay, I'm going to factor out a -1. And let's consider factors of 14. Let's see if we can factor this. I hope we can. So factors of 14 are 1 and 14 and 7 and 2. So let's go with the 7 and 2. I'm hopeful that will work. I think I'm going to get lucky. All right, let's try that. All right, so 7x times 2x is 14x squared. 7x times 1 is 7x. Minus 3 times 2x is -6x. So that the 7x minus 6x gives us our x, positive x. And -3 times 1 gives us our -3. So this does factor. Now, let's figure out what values of x satisfy this equation. So 7x minus 3 times 2x plus 1 equals 0 when 7x minus 3 equals 0 or 2x plus 1 equals 0. So in the first case, we have x equals 3 over 7, or when x equals -1 over 2. All right, so let's have a look here. We're going to scroll all the way back up, and we're going to look at our original question. So we have a rectangle that has the following dimensions. So the width is 2 over x, and the length is 3 minus x over x squared. So our values that let's scroll over to the right. The values we found for x were -2, -1 over 2, or x equals, I think, 3 over 7. Let's go back down and check. I think that's correct. Yes, 3 over 7. So we need to determine if both these values are possible, or if only one of them is possible, or none of them is possible. The first thing I see is the width is 2 over x. So if we were to plug in the value of x equals -1 over 2 into the width, we're actually going to get the following. So 2 over x equals 2 over -1 over 2, which is actually -4. This is not possible. We cannot have a width or any sort of dimensional measurement that's a negative value. So it's not possible. So that means, let's put an x through it, x equaling -1/2 is not a possible value. So let's try x equals 3 over 7. So that will work for the width because that's a positive number. Now let's check for the length. All right, so 3 minus x over x squared. I think it will work. All right, so the denominator is positive, so I don't have to worry about that. The numerator, it's also going to work. Remember, we're subtracting fractions, so we need to put everything over a common denominator. We have 21 minus 3 over 7 over this 3 over 7 squared, regardless of what the value is, which I think it's 18 over 7 over 3 over 7 all squared. This is a positive number, so we're good. So that means our answer is x equals 3 over 7. So let's just put it here. Therefore, x equals 3 over 7.